Uh-oh, they saying Jay-Z friends are turning against them. Oh no, what the fuck? Not Hov. All right, y'all. If y'all new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button so you don't miss no more of my videos. And as usual, if you need to grab some smoke, drink, whatever, grab what you need so we can tune into this video and see what the hell is going on, man.
That Jay-Z's PR return and that PR interview that was scripted was a complete failure. It had the opposite effect on the public. It didn't make the public see Jay-Z as more human.
Actually, I ain't gonna lie. Once I seen that he had grills in his mouth at 56 years old, I said, "Oh hell no! Nah. What the fuck is going on?"
Made us think that Jay-Z is actually worse than we thought, to be honest. Now, I knew that it was over for Jay-Z, and I knew that like Jay-Z's, I don't know, reign at the top was crumbling and falling. When I began to see,
I ain't gonna lie, I think him coming out and speaking made everything fucking worse. Like, I've never seen Jay-Z come out and speak on anything, and I feel like right now, like, I don't know, it's kind of like cringy a little bit. And like, I ain't got nothing against Jay-Z. I don't know him personally, but like it's like he trying to defend some shit like
that are usually terrified,
you know what I'm saying,
to criticize Jay-Z. When I seen they start speaking up against Jay-Z, when I see they start attacking Jay-Z and going at Jay-Z, that tells me, aha, the reward of criticizing Jay-Z is now greater than whatever risk that comes with not being a friend of Jay-Z. And once the reward outweighs the risk, you're about to see a whole bunch of grifters hop on board.
What the fuck is chat? What the fuck is a grifter? That's a new word. Teach me something. Comment down. Somebody comment down below what the fuck a grifter is.
Anti-Jay-Z train that we've been on. See, Jay-Z spoke on capitalism or spoke on like being criticized for being a capitalist. I haven't really heard people criticize Jay-Z for being a capitalist. I heard people criticize Jay-Z for effing people over in business deals.
Yeah, I heard
and being
about
grimy
that.
and being slimy. But Jay-Z spoke on capitalism. And from what he said in regards to capitalism, you had a lot of usual Jay-Z defenders turn on him, and they turn against him.
So I wanted you to talk a little bit about this idea of like you said earlier, like the things that you do for the culture, the ways that you put on, the ways that you try to protect and move forward, but kind of the pushback that you get sometimes about like people throw capitalists at you in a derogatory sense.
Yeah, I think in that verse specifically, the only thing I heard coming up was the American dream until we started being successful. And it was like, wait a minute, you're selling out because you're making money. That was the first thing that was put on musicians. People had this law for the struggling artists. That's a mind game, what we would call back in the day for tricknology. It was like, no, I'm not going for that. Like, no, I make art first. And then I make sure that I'm compensated for my art. I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I ain't taking no one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, you know, the loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in like a capitalist structure. That structure exists, you know, and I just see the world for what it is, not for what I want it to be. I'm a realist, not an ideal. It's not idealistic.
So what Hov said too, he didn't get there by taking advantage of somebody or by finding some loophole and exploiting that.
I disagree.
So that's what I'm saying. And if you look back at his story, he pioneered a lot of that stuff, a lot of the decisions and different things that he was doing.
They started Rockefeller with drug money, right?
Allegedly.
That's not taking advantage of people? Selling crack to drug addicts in your own community isn't taking advantage of getting...
It was the 80s. Hold up. What you could deem as taking advantage of somebody else may look at as survival. So...
You survived by taking advantage of people. They're not mutually exclusive.
By supply and demand?
Yes, if you supply,
but that's not what.
Yes, literally. Yes.
I think that's
that's
not
what made you. That's not what made a billionaire though. That's what I'm saying though. That's
no, but so y'all made like 10 arguments. Let me respond to a couple of them.
Listen to this. I'm gonna break it and simplify it. If I start a T-shirt line, right, and I sell $10 T-shirts,
right,
and I sell 100 million T-shirts, I'm a billionaire.
If you give me this scenario on a blank canvas, I'll probably lean more towards Ish than Mark Lamont Hill. But I understand what Mark Lamont Hill is saying. And because we're dealing with Jay-Z, you kind of have to add more context to this. Mark Lamont Hill is saying you can't do a podcast talking about, oh, I didn't do this, and this, when the very nature of what you do is that.
I don't have an issue with artists making money off their art. I don't have an issue with people making money or profit. Capitalism isn't the only system where people make money. That's why sometimes when people go, "Aha, you made some money," and you say you don't like capitalism. Well, yeah, there's other social systems where people make money. Like
give me some
socialism. There's still you can still have a profit in socialism, right? So it's not that there's no system where you can't make money. The question is to what extent. And I agree with you. If defining the issue isn't the definition of capitalism, it's the consequences of it. And so I would ask, somewhat rhetorically, but whatever, right? Like, is there ever been a capitalist system in the world where there hasn't been a huge gap between people who have and people who don't?
I have a question.
Hold on, just let me finish, because y'all said like a lot of things. I just don't want to forget. I'm old. I'm just old.
You sound just old.
I'll stop here. To the billionaire point, the issue, I'm sure Jay-Z works hard. Jay-Z may work harder than everybody up here. Cool. Let's just... The issue for me isn't that. But that kid, to use your example, in Indonesia, or that kid in Latin America or wherever, is also working hard. And it's not just like an arbitrary U.S. standard of comfort. If you're working for $1 an hour, or if you have to work in a factory at 8 years old instead of going to school, I think most human beings would agree that that's an untenable set of circumstances. The issue with extreme amounts of wealth is that wealth depends on that kind of system. You sell 100 million t-shirts. It's hard to sell 100 million t-shirts without someone's labor being exploited. It's hard to get $1 billion, maybe not by putting guns to people's heads, but by investing in systems and companies that do those things, whether it's private security companies, whether it's places people that exploit labor. And that's my issue. I'm not saying, because Jay-Z kind of made a straw man argument in that interview where he's like, well, so a millionaire is bad, but 999,000 is good. It's not that. It's not about the individual people. It's about the system. That's my. The system itself doesn't allow for certain outcomes.
Theoretically, this is where hell may freeze over, because I can acknowledge that Jay-Z told a lie from the pits of hell when Jay-Z said he didn't F over or exploit people to get to where he's at. That's an absolute lie. We can point to instances of him exploiting people. But I can also agree that capitalism is a flawed system, but it's the most perfect flawed system we have. Until you present me, Mark Lamont Hill, a system that perfectly manages human nature and logistics, then I don't really want to hear a critique of capitalism if there's no better alternative. Now, I say communism, right? Because
I feel like there's a supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like some people buy into certain shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody has a choice. Either that's like saying, oh, you working at McDonald's and they don't pay you shit, but they want you to do X amount of work. But you stay because you need money, you want money, right? Well, they're like, okay, well, I'm only gonna pay you this to do this amount of work. And you choose to stay instead of finding a better job, another job. That's on you. That's on you. I'm not working at McDonald's. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck how much they try to pay me. I'm not doing that work. I ain't doing the customers, you know what I'm saying? Because it's something that I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? And if I go to a job, you know what I'm saying, and boom, I'm getting paid a certain amount, and then they try to get us to do more shit, which I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I will find another job. It's just like that. If you don't like something, change it. You know what I'm saying? People are deciding to stay in situations that they that's literally have the free will to walk out of.
Like that's like their perfect system they like to point to. They claim they're socialists, but they only say socialism because it's more acceptable than say you're a communist. But communism don't really take human nature into perspective. All right? Like, how do you get people to choose to go to school for 12 years to become a doctor?
Right.
And they're getting paid the same as somebody who wakes up every day and, I don't know, like clean the roads or take the trash out.
Right.
Right? How do you incentivize that? It can't be, right, a higher standard of living. You can't say, hey, if you become a doctor, even though y'all all got the same wages, we will give you a bigger house. Well, that's no longer communism. That's no longer communism now, because we all have the same quality of life. That's communism, right? So if you go to school for 12 years to be a doctor, hey, bruh, you got to live in the same crib as the trash man. You got to eat the same food as the trash man, bro. You get the same quality of money as the trash man, bro. And God forbid you start saving money a little too well, you start hoarding money a little too well, hey, bro, we got to come and take away some of that money, bro, because you getting too rich. All right? So, yeah, like that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. And then also, too, again, in terms of communism, we have to rely on a perfect leader. All right? How do you put somebody in a position of power and don't expect them, to use their power? So you have to have a perfect leader who don't misuse their power. And then you also have to have a perfect society of people who are absolute go-getters, of people who will wake up every day and try their hardest, and that's not really the society we live in.
Right.
So in this situation, man, where Mark Lamont Hill is taking this Jay-Z conversation, now trying to flip it to go at, like capitalism, I'm not buying it, bro. And people like Mark Lamont Hill, they will say these things, and they would give like ideas, but no real solution, because you can't tell me a better alternative than capitalism. Another person who, for some reason, a lot of people have linked to Roc Nation and Jay-Z.
I'm not gonna lie, all the capitalism and that talk, I don't know a whole lot about the shit. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? I look at it like this. That's like, you have kids, right? And you want the TV remote, right? And it's literally like right there. A lot of motherfuckers, they go call their kids in, like, hey, can you pass me the remote? Motherfucker, it's right there. Get your ass up and go get the fucking remote. But you feel like just it's your kid, you can do whatever you want, right? No, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. Comment down below how y'all feel about the situation.